Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, Niger Delta Avengers claim bombing of another crude oil pipeline in Bayelsa State. Akwa Ibom militants condemn the attacks on pipelines. Police arraigned suspects in the June 2nd murder of Mrs. Bridget Agbayeme over blasphemy before a Kano magistrate court. Elder statesman and professor of law Ben Wabweze calls for restructuring of the federal system as part of measures aimed at sustaining national unity. Thousands attend funeral procession for Muhammad Ali as the boxing legend is buried in his hometown, Louisville, Kentucky.
On business news tonight, MTN set to list on the Nigerian Stock Exchange as the telecoms giant resolves settlement with the NCC.
On sports news tonight, Muhammad Ali laid to rest in Louisville, Kentucky, as millions paid tribute to the boxing legend.
Tonight, we begin with the Niger Delta Avengers, which says it has bombed yet another crude oil pipeline belonging to Agip ENI in Bayelsa State, Nigeria's Niger Delta region. The group, in a tweet on its Twitter handle, said it blew up the Obi brass trunk line belonging to Agip ENI at 3 a.m. today. The Obi brass trunk line is regarded as Agip's major crude oil line in Bayelsa State. Meanwhile, another explosion rocked a pipeline operated by a subsidiary of Nigeria's state oil company in Delta State. The Nigerian Petroleum Development Company's pipeline at Sanomi Creek, around the Ogidingbe area of Warri's southwest, exploded around 8 p.m. on Thursday. No one has claimed responsibility for the blast. In May, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Agip Crude, said the activities of vandals in the oil-rich Niger Delta has reduced oil production output from 2.2 million to 1.4 million barrels per day. Meanwhile, a group of militants in the Akwa Cross region under the umbrella of Bakassi Strike Force have condemned in totality the activities of the Niger Delta Avengers in blowing up pipelines. The group says these attacks have a retrogressive effect on the economy of Nigeria. Leader of the group, Mr. Simple Benjamin, who was speaking in an Akabuyo local government area of Cross River State, however, called on the federal government to listen to the agitations of the Niger Delta Avengers.
There is no struggle without a reason. Like the Niger Delta Avengers NDA today have reasons why they are blowing up oil and gas facilities belonging to Nigerian states. That's not to say that we are in support of their actions. We believe that nation building is no one man's task, but a collective effort. I wish to also appeal to my Niger Delta brothers that crippling Nigeria's economy is not the solution to our challenges. It is cheaper to make peace as war leads to more destruction. Fellow compatriots of the Niger Delta Avengers, please sheath your swords and give peace a chance. I think you have made your points. Hence, you should give government chance to respond. Enough of the bombings, please. Nigeria needs peace now more than ever. The government of the day needs peace to implement its promises. I call on the sponsors of the Niger Delta Avengers to have a rethink of their actions. I also appeal to the Nigerian security agencies to please tread softly, as two wrongs cannot make right. Let's adopt the approach of the American ambassador to Nigeria, who employed us to use dialogue, as war alone cannot solve our problem. I also appeal to all Niger Delta ex-militant leaders to support the federal government to change Nigeria. Similarly, I wish to also appeal to the federal government and all those in position of authority to be mindful of their words, as it can infuriate anger and set one against the other. We recently heard comments from the federal government such as, "We will crush them." and there will be no more fresh amnesty, or in other words, no medals for criminals. We are not saying criminals should be celebrated, but we should take cognizance of the fact that Niger Delta challenges are unique, therefore should be treated carefully.
To other security challenges, the Yobe State Governor Ibrahim Gaidam is asking security forces not to relax in the ongoing war against insurgency, despite the relative peace being enjoyed across the northeast region of the country. The governor gave the advice today when he received the commandant of the Counterinsurgency Special Forces School, Major General Anthony Olufolorunso, at Government House, Damaturu, the state capital. The governor said that security forces seem relaxed following the reduction in Boko Haram attacks, describing it as too dangerous for the sustenance of peace in the affected areas.
It is too early and extremely dangerous for you people to relax now. In my view, before people will now say the military is done with Boko Haram terrorists, until when for 1 or 2 years nothing is heard of their campaign. My comments on this is not unconnected to what happened in Kanama a couple of days ago. Kanama town was attacked last 2 days. Before the attack took place, the chairman of the local government had drawn the attention of the commanders at Kanama and Gaidam headquarters of Indusari and Gaidam local government councils 48 hours to the occurrence of the attack. No proactive measure was taken before the Boko Haram terrorist strike. To me, and frankly speaking, there was a very clear case of lapse on the part of the military or the security operative who are handling the insurgency problem in that area.
Yobe State Governor Ibrahim Gaidam. Rights group Amnesty International has accused the Nigerian army of killing at least 17 unarmed members of the indigenous people of Biafra. In a report which the rights group claims is based on details from eyewitnesses, morgues and hospitals, soldiers opened fire on members of IPOB and their supporters in Awka, the Anambra state capital, during the build-up to a protest in May. In its response, the army dismissed the allegations as unfounded and notes that the accusations reveal a bias which undermines Amnesty's credibility. The army has issued a statement in which it said troops had to resort to self-defense after IPOB members allegedly attacked security agencies with firearms and various weapons, including dynamite. It said 5 members of IPOB were killed, 8 wounded, while 9 others were arrested. 5 principal suspects in the murder of a 75-year-old woman who was killed in Kano over blasphemy-related comments have been arraigned before a Kano State Magistrate Court. Mrs. Bridget Agbayeme was beaten to death on June 2nd after an argument between her and some youths at the popular Kofra Wambai market over religious matters. Dauda Ahmed and 4 suspects were presented before Justice Abubakar Jibrin on a 4-count charge, which they all denied. After taking their plea, the presiding judge fixed June 28 for hearing of the case.
4 count charges. Number 1 is inciting disturbance, joint acts, culpable homicide, police chief. There were 5 and we are still looking for others. As the prosecutor rightly said, the case file has already been duplicated and sent to Ministry for Justice for legal advice and subsequent prosecution to Higher Court of Justice. So these are the first batch of the suspects arraigned before this honorable court, and we are going to double our efforts to pitch out the others who were identified and continue with our investigation. I'm going to assure each and everyone that justice must be done in this case, and a thorough investigation, as directed by the Inspector General of Police through the Commissioner of Police, is going to be done without any waste of time.
Democratic reversals, large-scale post-election violence and massive youth unemployment are some of the emerging threats the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, must tackle urgently. That's according to the official ECOWAS historian, Professor Amadou Cissé, who says such threats, if ignored, will weaken the viability of the region, especially in the face of the current economic downturn. The Professor of African Government, Regional Integration, Security and Peace Support Operations was speaking in Abuja at an event to mark 41 years of the regional body. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, reports.
I have the pleasure to invite the
41 years as a legitimizer and bridge builder, fundraiser and promoter of regional peace and stability in the sub-region. That's what representatives of member states of the ECOWAS celebrate here in Abuja, Nigeria today. Tagged the single most important achievement in the region post-colonialism, the ECOWAS is said to have recorded more positive and developmental achievements than any other regional body in Africa. But not without challenges, says the ECOWAS official historian, Professor Amadou Cissé, who believes that some threats must be paid attention now.
The protocol on free movement of people, goods and services. I don't know whether ECOWAS is addressing that, but if you have terrorism in some member countries, and you have a protocol that allows people to move freely in and out of national borders, how will that impact terrorism, even the fight against terrorism? We saw large-scale violence in some African countries that led to bloodshed, even civil war, post-election violence. I think the threat still remains for as long as we continue to tinker with electoral processes. And then, of course, protracted economic slowdown due to falling commodity prices. The fall in the price of oil is a case in point. High cost of living and falling living standards. Massive youth unemployment in a region that is characterized as a youth bulge.
But these are only possible with the support and collaboration of member states.
Your collaboration with us has enabled us to advance the integration agenda of ECOWAS. And without you, we couldn't have done all that we achieved, all the modest achievement that we achieved during the 41 years. Then we hope this fruitful partnership will still continue.
Some of the challenges the regional body still has to tackle moving forward are fledgling democratic institutions, undue tenure elongation by some heads of state, weak national economies, inadequate funding for peace enforcement, and over-reliance on developmental partners. Omelogo, Nadi Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Senate President Bukola Saraki commends federal government's fight against corruption, offers assurance that the upper chamber will ensure campaign promises are kept. Please stay with us.